Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki
Jai.
Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Arpanamastu. We should once again submit our grateful pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan for this great opportunity to be able to sing his powerful name together with everyone. Every time we get a glimpse from the life of Bhagwan or from the experiences of the devotees, we see how this grace of Bhagwan works intelligently according to the circumstances. Nama is Nami, and Nami is nothing but grace. It's all the supreme intelligence and its costless grace. Just at the mere calling out the name, we see how miraculously we receive the grace. Today we shall see something different from the usual stories because it makes a point, a very poignant way how it describes Bhagwan. Bhagwan as we saw him. There are many Puranic stories, and here we shall see one of them which accentuates the point that Bhagwan was making all the time. The story is Sri Narad, the great devotee of Bhagwan Narayana. Everybody knows that he used to go around to all the worlds. There are many worlds, not just this world either. There are many beings of different dimensions living at different levels with different energies. And Narad had the freedom to go to any world, any time. And he was welcome everywhere. He was also famous for his play of events that would finally that would create a lot of confusion even among the gods and goddesses, but will end well. All is well that ends well. This is the description of our Narad. Now one day he visited a couple in a village. These two, the couple, they were so virtuous. They lived a life of dharma, and they were very hospitable to the guests, very helpful to the society, very hospitable to the guests, and they always did the right thing based upon dharma. Impressed by their virtues, Narad visited them as a guest. And true to their nature, they were very hospitable, they fed him well, gave him whatever he wanted, and pleased him no end. Then Narad asked him, "You are so very rich, yet you people are very hospitable, you people are very virtuous, you are not carried away by position or money or power. You seem to have complete fulfillment of all that you wanted." Then the couple said, "No, sir, we have one complaint. We have no children. We have not been blessed with child so far." Immediately, in the mind of Narad, it struck that was very easy, that he would go to Vaikuntha and tell Narayana to help them, and that would soon happen. So he said he assured them that they would very soon get children, and they would recommend these people to Sriman Narayan. But then he thought on the way he would approach Brahma first. So he went to Satyaloka and saw Brahma and appealed to him on behalf of this couple. Brahma immediately became silent. And after some time he said, "Look, it is I who write the fate of people. How can I violate it? According to their fate, they are not to have any children in this birth. They have to suffer like this, and I have no right to violate this law. I wrote it myself. How can I violate it now? I am very sorry, I cannot do anything about it." Then immediately Narada rushed to Vaikuntha, to Sriman Narayan, and appealed to him. "Narayana, cast your compassionate glance upon this couple. They are so virtuous, dharmic. They have everything, but still they are humble, hospitable, and helpful. Will you not bless them with a child?" Narayana immediately became silent, just like Brahma, and then finally said, "Narad, look here. How can I violate the law that I myself made? They have to go through this in this birth. Only in the next birth they have children. I'm afraid I cannot help you much in this." Heartbroken, Narad went to Kailash. He still had hope that Mahadev would do something, would be able to do something. But then the story repeated itself even there. Shri Mahadev said, I'm sorry, I have no right to change anything in their fate. Everything is predetermined. Everything goes on according to the fate. And we three have no right to interfere. Now you can imagine the plight of Narad, who was given word to the couple. Now by the time he finished his rounds like this, several years have passed on the earth. There is a time difference between the time scales of the two worlds, between the Deva's world and Bhulok, as we call it, the earth. So he was very upset. He felt very shy to face those people again. So he kept away from them for some time, and then one day it struck him that he could visit now. Several years have passed and they may not remember him even. So when he went to their place, he was just passing by, not entering it, but he was surprised to see 3 children playing outside the house. Immediately he called one of them and asked, and they said, yes, the couple there, they are our parents. One was 6 years, the next one was 4 years, the third one was 2 years. Then immediately he rushed to Vaikuntha and approached Narayana. He said, Narayana, I have a doubt. How is that what you could not change, what Brahmadev could not change, what Shri Mahadev could not change, can happen on the earth? How is it despite your not being able to help me in this matter? They have 3 children now, happily playing with each other. How could this happen? Srimad Narayan smiled and said, look, come with me. I will show you why. And he disguised himself, Srimad Narayan disguised himself as a very old man, infirm old man. He was shaking all the time because of the age, and he was skin and bones, and he had a stick to help him walk. Narad became a youth, a very powerful youth, very strong youth. So they began to walk towards a village. They crossed the house of these people, the couple, went a little distance away to a hut. And there, inside the hut, there was a man who was trying to light a fire. Even as they walked, as they entered the village, it began to rain, a heavy downpour, and there was a very strong wind, and it became very cold. The old man found it very difficult to walk. And then the strong youth immediately carried this old man on his shoulder and came inside the hut. The man was trying to make fire with wooden logs, saw these people, immediately he rushed. He welcomed them with a very sweet smile. He made them sit, and he saw the condition of the old man. The old man was slowly dying. He was shivering in the cold, and the life was slowly leaving his body. He needed warmth desperately. The man saw that, and he tried and tried to make the hut warm, but the wind was too strong and there was no door. The hut was in a very poor condition. So he wondered how he could give the warmth, the required warmth, to the old man and save his life. All that he had in the hut was a little kapoor, that is camphor, and some ghee, which he had begged. Immediately an idea struck him. He applied the ghee over his body, especially the lower portion, and then he smeared the camphor over that. Then, you see, the fire had started, but it had not become the flames yet. It was very weak fire, and it was not burning bright, so there was no required warmth there. So this man, what he did, immediately he went and sat over this weak fire, and because it was camphor all over him, it became flames immediately. It burst into flame. His body started to burn. He folded his hands, closed his eyes, went into deep prayer. Even as his body was burning, but then that was sufficient to give enough warmth. And the burning man was very happy that the old man was saved. As his body was burning and burning and burning, the tongues of flame began to consume his flesh. The youth and the old man, they could no more keep up their disguise. Of their own volition, the body of the youth became that of Narad, and the old man's body turned into Shivanarayan. It's not that they did it voluntarily. It's not that they became their original deities in order to bless this man. It just happened. The sacrifice of this man, the height of sacrifice for the sake of warmth, for the sake of saving an old man. He didn't think, okay, he's an old man. Anyway, he would soon die, so why should I bother? Instead, he went and sat there after applying camphor all over. By burning himself, he was trying to give warmth to this man in order to save his life. What a sacrifice! Who would do it? Can we find such people anywhere? And his very sacrifice brought about the changes in the bodies of this old man and the youth, and they could not help revealing themselves. That's a great point. The sacrifice, every sacrifice that we make for the sake of the other people, for the happiness of the other people, would invite an immense grace from the divine. Then Shivanarayan said, do you know what happened? This man, who has no desire at all in his heart, who is ready to give up his life in order to save another life, he had been there in that house of the couple once, and they fed him. At the time, after eating the food, he found out that the couple had no child. Immediately, a thought arose in his mind, a longing to see them happy with a child. And that was all that happened. The thought that came to him, the selfless man, the embodiment of sacrifice, immediately materialized. The wife conceived, and soon there were 3 children. And then Shiva Narayan said, what Brahmadev could not do, what I myself could not do, what Shri Mahadev could not do, a man of sacrifice, great sacrifice, a selfless man can do it. A Mahatma can do it. And that's what happened to the couple. Doesn't it describe our Bhagwan, who was burning his energy all the time? Amidst all the difficulties that he faced, all the challenges, he was living in the street. There was nobody to give him food or shelter. And sometimes he would go without even a cup of tea for 2 days, 3 days, starving. Not only that, when you went on the road, he would be completely lost in his world, singing Shri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, and dancing ecstatically, not even aware of the surroundings or his own body. He would be suddenly surrounded by the thugs, and they would start beating him up. So many cruelties were heaped upon him, such indignities done by ruthless, heartless people. He put up with all that. We all remember the story, I think very recently I narrated it, that on his way to the bus stand, Swami was suddenly surrounded by 4 thugs. They snatched away his coconut shell, the newspapers, his hand fan, and started to beat him. Such cruelty. He was hurt in several places and the blood was oozing. But he simply submitted. He did not resist them. When 2 of his attendants came running after hearing about it, these thugs ran away. But Perumal, one of his attendants, said, Swami, please let us go after him. We would give them nicely. We would beat them up so well, they would never dare touch you again. But Bhagwan said, no, Perumal, they have done their work. We shall do Father's work. So you see, this is not only a lesson to all of us. We know a scorpion, the dharma of a scorpion is to sting. A tiger, when it is hungry, would pounce upon its prey. It is a dharma. There is no question of discrimination there in the animal kingdom. They have only instinctive intelligence. But a man is given the sense of discrimination, what is good, what is bad, what is dharma, what is adharma, what is selfishness, what is selflessness, what is sacrifice. So Srimad Narayan pointed out the great, great Mahatmas who live only for the sake of the others, who live only to alleviate the sufferings of the world, even as they themselves suffer, sacrificing everything. By their sankalpa, anything could happen. They have the power to change the course of events of a life. So our Bhagwan was doing it all the time. I remember whenever somebody entered his presence, Bhagwan would immediately light a cigarette. And then he would start smoking and smoking and smoking, sometimes all through the day. In Sudama, at the end of the evening, he would drop 5 or 6 empty cigarette boxes into my hands. And then one day he said, in order to test me, Devaki, why do you preserve all these empty cigarette boxes? They are worthless. Throw them away. I said with folded hands, because I saw him smoke and smoke and smoke, work all through the day. Despite the complaints in his body, despite the discomfort he felt, I said, Bhagwan, they are not empty cigarette boxes. They are full of your father's work. And suddenly, his face brightened up, and there was an intense look on his face. He raised his hand and blessed me for some time, because I hit upon the truth. He would often say, while smoking, he would keep a piece of gooseberry in his mouth just to mitigate the effects of smoking. He said by keeping it all the time, because he was doing this tremendous work of his father, the divine, he lost all sense of taste. He said he could not feel any taste anymore on his tongue. I remember in the last days when he was suffering from the pain of cancer. They say a cancer patient suffers a pain that's equal to the bite of 1,000 snakes. This is how it is described. The cancer pain is so severe, so unbearable, and when I saw him suffer, I asked him, why would he suffer? You have always worked for the welfare of the world. You have done only your father's work. So why should your father give you this? He said with a smile, Devaki, Father for some cosmic balance, to set right something in the cosmos, Father makes this beggar suffer. This was his reply. And that's why, and that's how he was able to help all those suffering people. There was no desire in his heart for his own self. So any sankalpa, any thought that came to him materialized. He was burning himself for the sake of the others. I remember once he said in the hut during breakfast that because of people like this beggar, some people are still living like this beggar on this earth. The earth is still in balance. And then he added, he quoted Jesus Christ, we are the salt of the earth. He said a Mahatma is like a candle which burns at both the ends, throwing light everywhere. And that is why today his name has become a mantra for thousands and thousands of people. It brings about both inner and outer transformations. It's able to help us, guide us, protect us. Now to this Bhagwan, who is here right in front of us, in the form of a statue, which is no statue either. He told me when he installed it, do not think it's a statue of this beggar. It is my Father himself. And those who come and chant this beggar's name and praise here will be granted their prayers. So we shall appeal to him today, submit our prayers at his feet. Bhagwan, we pray and pray for your immediate divine intervention to destroy this virulent virus, this Rakshasic virus, once for all, and free the entire humanity and bring back normalcy in every aspect of life, everywhere in the world, in every country of the world. Bhagwan, only you can do it. There is not even a trace of selfishness in you. You have become one with the Lord, and haven't you declared quite a few times that you are the cosmic controller and that you run the whole cosmos, and then the cosmic work would continue from the center. Only you can bring about the relief that the world needs very badly today. Kindly uproot the panic from the hearts of people and arrest the spread of the disease. And Bhagwan, please enter the vaccine and make it kill the family of this virus once for all. And all those soldiers, brave soldiers, who are burning themselves in order to save other lives. Only you can give them protection. And Bhagwan, please give a boost to the falling economy, and above all, constant remembrance, constant chanting of your name. Only you can alleviate the suffering, like Sriman Narayan pointed out. We keep chanting your name and begging for relief from the sufferings of the world. And Bhagwan, give us the right attitude to life, the attitude of being an instrument in your hands. And we once again pray to you for us to be a good, fine instruments in your hands. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.